Buying your first 3D printer has never been easier, but it's also never been more confusing. There are dozens of good 3D printers on the market, and if you ask 10 different people, they will all give you different answers on which printer to buy. What's up guys, I'm Colton, and if you're looking to buy your first 3D printer, this video is for you. In this video, we're gonna be talking about the features that actually matter and then the mistakes that beginners make. And then I'll give you some printer recommendations for different budgets. So before I show you guys my recommendations, we need to go over what actually makes a good 3D printer. One of the things that makes a good 3D printer is auto bed leveling. One of the most frustrating parts of older printers was manually turning the screws under bed to level the plate and always having first layer adhesion issues. Today, most good beginner printers actually come with that automatically. Now reliability. The best printer isn't necessarily the fastest, it's the printer that works when you press go. Another thing is good software. A good slicing software can make 3D printing a lot easier. Now we're gonna go over common beginner mistakes when buying a 3D printer. The first one is saving money on a 3D printer. 50 bucks is not worth it if you're always gonna have to be tinkering with the machine and can't get it to print when you press print. Me personally, I want a machine that when I press go, I'll get a part 100% of the time and not have to worry about that. It's not worth 50 bucks. The second mistake is buying too big. When you're a beginner, you do not need a big build volume. I have a Bambu Lab H2D, and I barely use the entire build size, and I've been 3D printing for years. The third most common mistake is chasing speed. The fastest printer on the market is not always the best. Typically, your brands will market the highest speed ever, but in reality, none of us print that fast. It's usually from 200 to 300 millimeters per second, because with the cost of going that fast, you lose a lot of quality, and I mean a lot. And the last mistake is expecting perfection. Every 3D printer has a learning curve, and it's not gonna be perfect. You're gonna have failed prints, you're gonna have issues, it's gonna happen. I have a Bambu Lab H2D, which is an expensive printer. I still have problems all the time with that thing. You have to learn what works and what doesn't, and you have to learn how to fix it. Even the most beginner-friendly printers that look to have all the features are still going to mess up sometimes. So the first budget we're gonna be going over is the under $250 budget. Now you may be wondering, how am I gonna get a 3D printer for under $250? But don't worry, there is plenty of good options, fast options, under this price range, and you're still gonna get an amazing printer under this price. So the first printer I'm gonna be covering is the Bambu Lab A1 Mini. This printer has a build volume of 180 millimeters cubed, which is plenty of room for your first few projects. This printer is fast and reliable, and if you wanna get a printer that can come right out of the box and work, this one's a great choice. I have the regular Bambu Lab A1 behind me, and I have not had a single problem with it. Bambu Lab is a very trusted brand, so if you're looking for a printer that is gonna be really reliable and get you printing on day one, it is the perfect choice for you. The next printer in this category is gonna be the FlashForge Adventure 5M. This 3D printer comes in slightly bigger than the A1 Mini at 220 by 220 by 220, but don't let that fool you. It's really not that big of a difference, and you're only gonna get a few more millimeters, so if size is your reason to upgrade, it's not that big of a deal. However, the FlashForge Adventure 5M is a Core XY machine. A Core XY machine is a combination of belts and pulleys that moves the print head around and the bed moves up and down. Rather, on like an A1 Mini, your nozzle moves and your bed moves and they combine to print. This one is a lot more accurate because the print head's the only one moving, so you're not getting as much vibration, and this leads to a lot more accurate prints and overall faster print speeds. This printer is also really good for beginners. One of my friends got one of these the other week, and he got it out of the box knowing nothing about 3D printing and got it running in the first hour. So if you're looking for a printer that's gonna work out of the box and is Core XY, this is a really good printer for you. And the final printer I'm putting on the under $250 budget range is gonna be the Ender 3 V3 KE. I know, it's a handful of a name. This printer comes in slightly bigger on the Z than the FlashForge Adventure 5M at 220 by 220 by 240. This printer is very beginner friendly as it has auto calibration, and it is overall a good machine for the price, and it matches the speeds of the other two printers, which makes it really good for a bed slinger. And another reason I'm recommending this on the under $250 budget range is because I actually have one of these printers and I have not had any problems with it. When I got it out of the box, it worked. It still works now. I have not had much trouble with it, and it's overall been a good machine to me over the past 2 years I've had it. So if I had less than $250 to spend, I think out of those three printers, I would go with the Bambu Lab A1 Mini. It is the smallest of the bunch, but Bambu Lab you just can't go wrong with. It's so beginner friendly, so fast, and the ecosystem is nice. And I just haven't had any issues with my regular A1. I can't imagine the A1 Mini being any different than that. and they're just, the quality and speed for the price you pay is unbeatable on Bambu Lab, and that's why I would pick that if I had under $250 to spend. Now, let's move on to the next budget. Now we're on to the $250 to $500 budget range. The first printer I'm featuring on this list is gonna be the Bambu Lab A1. You can think of this as just a bigger version of the Bambu Lab A1 Mini. It just has bigger build volume, but it keeps the same beginner-friendly things like the A1 Mini. The A1 comes in at 256 millimeters cubed. The reason you'd pick the A1 over the A1 Mini is just so you don't run out of build plate volume if you're deciding to grow or you're planning to print bigger parts. So the next printer in this category is gonna be the Creality K2. This printer has a build volume of 260 millimeters cubed, and it's a Core XY printer with an enclosure. This enclosure will let you print ABS and ASA in the future. If you have any questions on what those filament types are, I have another video on my channel talking about all the filament types. Now the Creality K2 is also good because it's really beginner friendly like all the other printers on this list so far, and since it's Core XY, it is really fast. So overall, you can't really beat its price for its Core XY and its speed, plus the beginner friendliness, and it's overall a good printer, and you can add multicolor with the CFS unit later. And the final printer in this category is gonna be the Anycubic Cobra 4. This printer is a bed slinger, and it comes in at 260 millimeters cubed. This printer is extremely fast and it's beginner friendly, and it's mainly for people who want something besides Bambu and Creality but have some of the same modern features as those. So if I had between $250 and $500 to spend, I would choose the Creality K2. So if I had between $250 and $500 to spend, I would choose the Creality K2. This is mainly because I can print ASAs and ABS thanks to that printer enclosure. You can't do that on a Bambu Lab A1 or an Anycubic Cobra 4 because those are open air and the prints are gonna warp off the build plate.
And finally, the $500 to $1,000 budget range.
So the first printer I'm gonna put on this list is gonna have to be the Bambu Lab P2S. This printer is fully enclosed and it's Core XY, so it is extremely fast and accurate. This printer is best for long-term hobbyists, so you're not just 3D printing every other day, you're gonna be 3D printing every day, putting a lot of stress on the machine, and this printer is not gonna break because it is very reliable in situations like that. So the next printer I'm putting in this category is gonna be the Creality K2 Plus. This printer is a clone of the K2, just the build volume is bigger. The larger size of the build plate opens up for things like cosplay and large functional parts, so you don't have to expand later. You already have the build size you want, especially if you know you're gonna be printing full-size cosplay parts. And the last printer I'm gonna be putting in this category is the Cheedy Plus 4. The Cheedy Plus 4 is one of the strongest competitors in this price range, and it offers a lot of value. This printer is really good for engineering materials like nylon, and it's enclosed so you can print whatever you want. There's no limits, and this is really good value. So if you're looking to print some really strong stuff in the future, you won't have to buy a new printer. So if I had $500 to $1,000 to spend, I would buy the Cheedy Plus 4. At the end of the day, don't focus on finding the perfect 3D printer. Find one that fits your budget and that'll let you spend more time 3D printing than tinkering on the machine. Tinkering on the machine is very annoying because usually by the time you get one bug out, another one shows up. And I'd rather just have a printer that works and I can print and learn more about the 3D printer rather than learning about how to fix the 3D printer. And that's one of the mistakes I made. So that's why I'm trying to tell you guys not to make that mistake, because it is terrible to have to work on your 3D printer all the time. Hopefully this video helped you figure out which 3D printer is right for you. And if it did, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe. And let me know in the comments which printer you're thinking about buying. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.